Welcome to NFL Daily, where we're trying to hold on to that first week of training camp optimism, but they're making it hard. I'm Gregg Rosenthal here in Chris Wesseling's podcast studio. That's what we're calling it today, with my friend Jourdan Rodrigue, and back after birthing a child. Congratulations.
I made it. I'm alive. Like, that is congratulations enough that I walked out of the hospital alive.
It's Bridget Condon. And yes, no, I mean, Ava, your daughter, congratulations to her, and congratulations to you. But no, I was congratulating you for being now a 3-time NFL Daily guest. That's really
the only thing that I did more on maternity leave than cuddle and kiss and smother my baby is bully Gregg into letting me back on the show.
That is
You should have just texted me.
True. But look, you
now that she's 3 days a week, she does have pull. So I might switch my bullying over to Jourdan.
Not a bad strategy, and you just got back to work. You were telling me just on Wednesday, so you're basically
day two.
On
I'm gonna put my phone down here and not stalk the nanny cam. This will be the longest I've gone without stalking the nanny cam. Those things are dangerous. Like, they're great because you can know what's going on, but like, I feel like I'm invading her privacy, and I need to chill.
Yeah, I feel like they almost shouldn't exist, but that's a conversation for another day. And Bridget is going to be one of the many NFL Network reporters out in the field. It is back together weekend on NFL Network, so we start the all-day coverage of training camp round the clock this weekend, so looking forward to seeing you there. But Jourdan, as I alluded to, off the top, in terms of the optimism, this is the time of year where like everything's great, and then usually the first few days there's always some sort of injury. Actually, this week I've thankfully noticed there hasn't been like too many major things, but there was on Thursday when Justin Fields gets carted off at Jets camp. I immediately thought, like, man, I've been optimistic about this team the whole offseason. I really believe it. I think they're the most underrated team in Vegas. And then I almost like felt like a Jets fan that it was already starting again.
It's so interesting. There's like a mixed response to this coming out of that market this morning as we're sort of following this unfolding Justin Fields foot-toe situation. Like, he got stepped on at practice. They're still understanding like the severity, the timeline, all of these things. But I'm seeing some reports out there being like, it's no big deal. They really avoided something worse, all of that. And then I'm also seeing reports of the timeline is still unknown. The severity is still unknown. I think if you get stepped on at practice, obviously go get that checked out. Feet are important. But I also think like they might have avoided something more serious here.
Yes, it is officially a dislocated toe.
Which painful. By the way,
and like
not
is
as
something
painful
that
as
can
giving
keep
birth.
No, I've had
can keep you out a month. It can keep you out a month too.
Yeah,
so there's
for
like
sure.
a quarterback obviously needs his toe. It didn't say what toe it is, which actually
it didn't
makes
say
a
the
big
big
difference.
toe though. So it said it's not.
But
the
who
big
knows?
toe.
Oh, it's not.
It's not the big toe. So that's one positive.
The Jets say avoided serious injury and missed in significant time. Will avoid missing significant time. But Rich Cimini and Adam Schefter of ESPN also say that it could be weeks, and they're hopeful he'll be ready for week 1. So the log line is like they don't really know, and we're going to see a lot of Tyrod Taylor if you're going out to Florham Park.
So as we're talking, I Googled. I remember Brian Baldinger telling a story one time about an NFL player with an extra toe. So of course I did a quick Google search. It's Jordan Mailata. It's not a quarterback. It's not Justin Fields. But man, how lucky would that have been?
Yeah,
how lucky would that have
seriously.
been if it's just the toe you don't need?
I feel for Jets fans because why does this happen every year, Gregg? Like, again?
Literally, Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and Mark Sanchez, Chad Pennington, if you want to go really far back, all had injuries during training camp as like starting quarterback.
Broadway is built on broken quarterbacks.
I'm not going to get freaked out though, because if he is ready for week 1, it's not the big a deal. But it is a guy.
Should be toe problem.
But it's now you know how crazy New York is as a market, and like now it's just one more thing that's putting pressure on this organization, and it's like, oh my God, could we have just had a great camp where Justin Fields went out there and maybe quieted down some people a little bit?
We haven't talked this much about feet since Rex Ryan was there.
Hey!
Right? Okay, I promise I have some actual response to your great analysis, Bridget.
No, I like that.
I feel myself slowly.
I like the
my
feet.
chair is slowly sinking. I don't know if you've noticed this. I've actually sunk several inches since we've started.
That is a great advertisement.
As long as you don't
to check
put
us
your
out on
foot
YouTube.
up on the table and show us your toes.
Oh my God. I
Another
almost forgot
quarterback
about
did that.
I think I blocked that. Another former Jets quarterback who was not with them at the time, you know?
I feel like Rex was ahead of the game because now they always joke about his foot fetish on the ESPN shows. I believe like that was back when it was almost like, ooh, this is really risque. And now everyone's so sex positive. Like,
Yeah,
no
like
kink
OnlyFans.
shaming.
Is he on there?
Everyone's
he could
into
be making
it.
some money.
Totally fans.
OnlyFans.
Mm.
Tyrod
I do
Taylor,
have to pay for daycare.
by the way. Tyrod Taylor is one of the most talented and best backup quarterbacks in the league. If you were just playing one game tomorrow, he actually might be a better option than Justin Fields. But that's not a great thing because I think Justin Fields, more than just about any other quarterback in a brand new offense, could really use as much time as possible. And Tyrod Taylor has proven, despite my love for Tyrod Taylor, that he can only stay healthy for like 1 or 2 regular season games at a time at this point of his career. One of the oldest players in the NFL.
One of the things that I do like about the way they've built that quarterback's room out is you don't have to stop installing the parts of your offense that you want to run around and through Justin Fields. It sounds like some of the like the triple option stuff, some of the heavier personnel stuff that they want to do. Tyrod Taylor is also more than capable of doing that, has the experience. So it's not like you're losing valuable install time or practice time as he's out. I'm really finding a hard time criticizing or being worried about much Jet stuff. Maybe because it was so rock bottom just a year or so ago.
But I mean, we've seen how important training camp is for quarterbacks in new systems, and I understand he can still be in the training room and learning the playbook and things like that. But like getting the rhythm down with his pass catchers, like that is what we're losing here. And like that was part of the reason with Aaron Rodgers, right? Like he didn't have enough time with them, right? Once he got injured to like really figure things out. And I think that's what the Jets were hoping for. Like, let's start new. Let's get this guy in. Let's build a foundation. Let's build camaraderie between the guys. And now it's like, what was that? Day 1, day 2? And we're already like, oh my God.
Let's just rattle through some other items. Hasn't been a ton of huge news before we get to a new segment that we are calling the corridor of uncertainty.
Love it.
And this is a term that is part of the cricket lexicon. I know nothing about the sport of cricket. I just heard it referred to in context of a cricket conversation, the corridor of uncertainty. And I thought, that's an amazing sports term. And I don't want to know really exactly what it means when it comes to cricket.
Write our own definition.
All it would take would be like 15 seconds on Google or Wikipedia, but no, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners will tell us if we're using it, but the corridor of uncertainty is coming up. But first, we're going to do the first round corner.
You know how I know you're a boomer real quick?
Yeah.
Because you said you're going to look it up on Wikipedia or Google. Like if you were a millennial or Gen X, you would say Gen Z, you're going to chat GPT it.
Oh, no.
No, but
I'm a bad millennial.
I think
Nobody uses Wikipedia or Google.
Let's normalize shaming anyone that uses GPT for anything, like as a moral
Clip
decision.
this right
I'm
now
so
because
excited.
in
This is what you
5
guys get to
years
fight
you're going to
about.
be
I'm so
loving ChatGPT. I will shake on it. You're going to text me one day and be like, oh my God, Chat just wrote my entire nutrition plan.
Moral stance against it. No
Why?
ChatGPT, no AI.
I'm done with you.
And by the way, you skipped right past
You
Gen
sound
X.
like the
I'm
people
a young Gen
who
X.
didn't like
You know how
believe
I
in
know.
Bitcoin and they would have been billionaires now, had they?
Yeah,
That's a
but they're all
conversation for
creeps.
another
Like they're like among the worst people in the world. Our first round corner, and that is going to be a little carousel we go through around the league, just of first round picks, making a little bit of news, and you guys can comment on what stands out to you the most. Jahad Campbell, the linebacker of the Eagles, who fell to 32 in large part because teams weren't sure if he was going to be ready to play this season because of a shoulder injury, is already out there first day of camp.
Love it.
Looking really good. He could really improve that defense and possibly even start next to Zach Bond. Liam Cohen, the Jaguars coach, said initially at camp, Travis Hunter is taking 1 or 2 days on offense and 1 or 2 days on defense. But on those days, he's sitting in the meeting rooms of the side of the football that he's not practicing on, which seems very confusing, so that he's getting ready to do both. But sooner than later, he's going to be playing and flip-flopping in practice both on the same day. It's just going to take like a week till he's ready to do that. And then one of my favorite picks in the draft, Walter Nolan, who is a really talented defensive lineman, could be out all the way into the regular season with a surgery that we weren't aware of till they had to declare it when he showed up for training camp. So I'm disappointed about that. What stands out of those stories?
That really stinks. The reason why I did chuckle, and I know that probably sounded insensitive upon first listen, but I put in parentheses in our shared Google Doc, parentheses, heartbreak for Gregg, because he was your favorite player in the draft, and he was a core piece, a young piece of that sort of evolving defensive line mixed together of veterans and younger players who were really supposed to help bring that Cardinals front to life this year. I love that Jahad Campbell is already on the field. We're going to be shaking our fists at Howie Roseman. Why? How did he do it again? Because of this pick at the end of the year.
There's a couple other injured guys there too. BJ Ojulari's coming off a torn ACL, isn't ready to go. Bilal Nichols is a defensive lineman ready to go. So I was really excited about their depth, but already it's being tested. Are we going to be able to overcome our chat GPT?
Yeah, for sure. I just asked chat, should I be mad at Gregg? And he was like, no, it's just going to take some time. So
it's not a person. It's just all it is a collection of Google
all right, Gregg.
links.
Well, chat doesn't have to tell me this one. I'm most excited about Travis Hunter because it's just fascinating. We haven't had a player like him in a long time in the NFL. And to see him work on both sides of the ball already he said he'll just need a week. Oh yeah, just a week to get ready until he's out there doing both. As you mentioned, he's doing 3 days of offense, 2 days of defense in when special teams goes with the defense when he's on offense. Yeah. It's very complicated, but I think the incredible opportunity here is the upside for him, right? If he is really going to be this good, and I think he hasn't reached his full potential, right? What these coaches can do with him was just a fraction in college, and now he has the help and the training staff and the resources to be a generational player. My concern is the injury, right? When a player is playing that many snaps on offense and defense, how long is that sustainable before a major injury happens? I hope it doesn't
so
happen.
Far.
Right. I hope it doesn't happen.
Still an unknown too. That they're sort of charting new territory here. I know that they have new data people over there. Jake Temmie's going to work with James Gladstone over there to really understand what this workload is, what it looks like. They've been talking to the Dodgers about Shohei Ohtani. I think they're dabbling into other sports where players play multiple positions at every level. It's super interesting to me. And one thing about Travis Hunter, you mentioned this, Bridget, it's really cool. He was an academic All-American, right? Yeah. And also he played at altitude. So I'm I love the confidence of him saying, yeah, I'll have the routine down. I just need to do the job in order to know how to do the job. And I love that mindset. I love that mentality because physically, he's a unicorn. But he also is a unicorn who trained at altitude and absolutely has the acumen to be able to just comprehend the magnitude of what's ahead of him.
And when you want to know why he's leaning a little more into the offense, A, he I think has more to learn there according to them. But B, when they line up in 3 wide receiver sets and he's on defense, it's Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown with their all-world receiver Brian Thomas. It's not a great group. You put Hunter there and move those 2 guys down a spot each, it suddenly looks a lot better. Going to the quarterback battles, Spencer Rattler was first up in team reps for what it's worth, which is not a ton. Our friend Andrew Siciliano had a Instagram video today. It's don't overreact to the first day, the order. I get that. Kenny Pickett got all the first team reps in Cleveland, but they said they're going to be switching it up day by day. So you can't really judge it just on one day. But after a couple days, people saying Rattler does get the ball out of his hands a little quicker. I do think that year in the NFL is going to help him. I'm already buying that he has a slightly bigger chance than I thought to win that job. What about the Cleveland grouping, Bridget?
It's kind of shocking to see the backlash maybe of Shedeur Sanders. I know that we saw it online of the kind of person he is and he fell in the draft and things like that. But I thought he was going to, because of that, go out in training camp and be lights out, right?
It's early.
You guys didn't.
What, he had a bad first day or something.
Okay, right. But again, as we mentioned earlier, when something goes wrong, all the pressure is going to be that much more intense on him. It's so interesting with Cleveland because you have 4 quarterbacks and not an answer. And for Kenny Pickett to be the one taking first team snaps, I get it. Joe Flacco is 40 years old up there.
Do you think he uses ChatGPT?
No, I don't know that he knows. I don't think it's came across his Facebook page yet. ChatGPT exists. But you know who uses it? Shedeur Sanders. Maybe he should use less ChatGPT and actually go out there and practice a little more. Anyways, Flacco, he has the experience, but he's aging. Pickett, unproven. Gabriel, mid-round pick. What do we know about him? Not sure. Shedeur Sanders, he's exciting, but he didn't, I don't know.
He's
raw talent. He's exciting because he's going to bring the fans. If he goes out there, he has so many followers, whether it's good or bad, he's going to bring the attention. And if he's good, that's great for the fan base.
It might be a negative. That might be a negative when it comes to the coaching staff of they don't want that sort of smoke or attention.
Yeah. What can they possibly complain about with attention at this point? As long as it's diverting from the multi-million dollar in guarantees elephant in the room. I have a theory that part of the Shedeur draft, not only because I do think he has tools, I think he's tradesy. I said on this show that he reminds me of a way back, over a decade and a half ago, version of what we would see from an early Kirk Cousins. And that's why I like how he fits in this type of scheme. I like his traits. I think he's got a lot of upside. I'm probably higher than most people were through the draft process, and most people are still on him. I'm also higher on Dylan Gabriel. He throws on time. He's like Tua, but shorter. Like that's really the comp here. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I cannot wait to see these younger guys start getting more opportunities and more reps. And one of my theories was, hey, this is a total attention cleanse. Yes, go pay attention to Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. For the love of God, pay attention to anything else other than everything that's festering for years in that building.
That assumes there's some sort of plan other than the owner just stepping in round 5 and being like, take Sanders. You no longer have a choice, just like with Deshaun Watson back in the day. But that's just a guess. A couple other little items. Was scared about this news when we heard about it on Wednesday, but we weren't sure. So I wanted to wait for an update. Dolphins offensive lineman Bayron Matos has movement in all his extremities after being airlifted from the Dolphins practice on Wednesday. That's all the information we have, but at least it's trending presumably towards positive. So that's good for him. The 49ers, very thin at cornerback. At wide receiver, rather. They have no one healthy there. A guy named Jacob Cowing, who's getting a lot of like pop in fantasy circles, who was a deep threat last year and could be as high as like wide receiver 2 for them based on like all the injuries, hurt his hamstring right away in training camp. And so they were basically down to Juwan Jennings.
What's with hamstrings in the
nobody else.
49ers?
That's a good point.
Question.
What's with the hamstring? In general, there's like more soft tissue injuries now early in camp. That's part of the reason why they try
because
to
they start younger?
ramp up. I don't know, because that's one of the big reasons why the ramp up period is and why the first few days of camp are so slow in theory, but it doesn't seem to help that much. The Dolphins lost some of their cornerback depth with Artie Burns. He is believed to have a torn ACL. Kyle Pitts, which we didn't know how he was looking because he missed most of the offseason, is practicing fully, taking a lot of wide receiver snaps.
The cycle begins anew.
The Seahawks, Uchenna Nwosu, could be out all the way into the regular season. That's a starter, a good pass rusher for them, but they do have their running back, the Seahawks, Ken Walker, back, which is really good. And then finally, Matt LaFleur revealed at Packers practice Thursday that, yes, Nathaniel Hackett is back in the league.
Hi, my name's Nathaniel Hackett. Thanks. It's nice to see you out here.
I just am happier. I feel like he deserves to be happy and deserves a
I just
job.
want to fly around like a butterfly.
Like, he deserves to fly around like a butterfly. It's a Peter Principle thing. Like, he wasn't supposed to be a head coach, maybe not even a coordinator, but it's good to just see Nathaniel Hackett back where he belongs.
I'm happy he's happy, but it's just interesting. It's like how I walked back into the studio. Hey, y'all, how you doing? You don't, I can't even like say this because you don't understand the trend because you're not on the socials. So never mind. But anyone listening, if you know what I'm saying, it's like when you walk back in after being away for a while.
I'm on too much social, I would say. I mean, Blue Sky's turned into a fiasco. There's now
our feeds are very different.
Now there's just 2 Twitters essentially, which was not what I wanted. And then Instagram. But yeah, that's it. That's
You're not on the talk.
I'm not on TikTok, no.
All right, forget
or Facebook. I've never had a Facebook.
Let me just
account,
mute myself.
Actually. So maybe that means something.
That's actually kind of crazy. Maybe
I did. That was a lie. I did for like 3 months, and then I just deleted it.
Did you have MySpace?
No, I never had MySpace either.
Was it
that was before my time.
Was it for your band? Was your Facebook page for your band?
No, I just like felt like the general social pressure, or that everyone was doing it, and I was like, "This is stupid."
Did
you give in?
Deleted.
No, wait, but you said MySpace was before your time. I had a MySpace.
I had a MySpace. You could code it, HTML code it yourself.
And you could do your top 8 friends. That's what a segment should be.
Ooh.
MySpace, your top 8 friends, but your top 8 NFL players.
He knows it's a good idea. He's writing it down.
Week. And you know what? You know what has to go with that? You used to get to put like a song. So when people visited your profile, the song would automatically play. So it could be like, here's your top 8, and the song is like, I don't know, something from Coldplay
or Yellow Card. I had Yellow Card on lockdown on the
yeah. Did you see my Instagram?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just saying that also. I was like, wait, no, I used to listen to Yellow Card.
Multiple people used to listen to Yellow Card.
I feel like it was niche. Everyone's putting like old school R&B, and I was like, I was listening to Yellow Card.
I grew up in like Desert Rat Warp Tour.
Yes, Warp Tour.
It was all Yellow Card.
Did you used to wear the bracelets, like the black? They weren't like hair elastics, but they were kind of like.
I never did.
You know what I'm talking about?
I had Chucks
I could
and an
care less what you're talking
oversized.
about.
Okay, sorry.
Green Day
Let's go
shirt.
back.
That was my aesthetic.
Guys, I'm trying to be a regular on the show. I need to keep it together.
Greg, you should write that down.
Warped
That's a great
Tour, no,
idea.
that was popping, even when I was in high school. So that lasted a while. MySpace, you're right. I was definitely not too young for MySpace. I was in my early 20s. I don't feel like I was that internet. I just wasn't.
Nobody in the
my
world
early
but the
20s.
people I'm talking about is going to care about this,
Drinking.
and I want to shout them out. When I did the Play Caller series, my sound guy on that, Kent Garrison, brilliant, brilliant human, he was in the band Forever the Sickest Kids. I was like, do we work together now? I think I snuck into Warp Tour to see
my
your
God.
band. Like,
All right, that's the news. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We will be back with the quarter of uncertainty.
Sorry.
Welcome to the corridor of uncertainty. A cricket term we don't really know about. We're not going to check
Chat GPT.
on anything. Just something that you're entering this season, and I think we need to embrace that as a society, of how much uncertainty there really is around us, how little we actually do know, but something that really stands out to you going into this season that you just don't know about. You're not picking one side. You're not being skeptical. You're not doing the other. You just don't know. Why don't we start off with you, Jourdan?
ooh, exciting. Yeah, so my corridor of uncertainty, and I like that this is neither a good or a bad thing, because I'm genuinely fascinated by the Seattle Seahawks offense this year and what it's going to look like. I don't really doubt the defense. I think they're going to be very, very good. They ended the year extremely well last year, and this system under Mike McDonald often takes a little bit of time. But they, to me, fast-tracked that pace last year. Clint Kubiak, what has he learned from his time with the Saints? Are there other levels, of other evolutions of this offense? The Saints started out so strong and then completely fell off a cliff. So what now sustains this moving forward? Jackson Smith and Njigba and Cooper Kupp, kind of similar players, but how are they going to figure out ways to play them in complementary roles? This Sam Darnold is a corridor of uncertainty all to himself.
His whole career.
Yes,
He's been in that corridor.
but he's owned that so well, which is great. The offensive line, have they done enough to fix the offensive line? I think it's so great that they have Ken Walker back. A really good running back does not fix an offensive line. Vice versa, it has to be the case. So pads go on next week for these guys, and I love that we're going to keep learning about this team and this completely overhauled identity all in one off season on the offensive side. I'm fascinated by this, and it's just, they're interesting to me.
They're one of the teams that you feel like you have a good sense of what the defense is going to be, which is not normally how the NFL is. The offenses are more consistent year to year, and I know it's only year two of Mike McDonald, and yet with that personnel and that coach and the way they finish, I feel like we know. And you're absolutely right. Like, the variance of what this offense could be, it could be bottom 10, it could be top 10 if everything goes well.
And I don't know what I would comp it to, right? Because Kubiak, we know the system that he came out of, and we know the coaching tree and all of that. He ran what was a very Kubiak-coded version of this offense at the beginning of his time in New Orleans last season. But it has to change, and there's also a mishmash of really tenured personnel in that offensive coaching staff and really interesting ideas. And so how is this going to move forward and become, what are we going to see from Clint specifically? Like, who is this person, and how is he going to do something different that will put defenses on a back foot versus being solved very quickly in the season?
And I think we forget that Sam Darnold at a certain point of last season was in the conversation for MVP. He had a bad game, and it came at the worst possible time when they were the last game of the season.
I mean, he never should have been, to be fair.
I would go ahead and disagree with you on that.
But I'm a hater.
You are a hater. Like,
in terms of getting like a vote where you get 5 votes, sure. Yeah, sure.
Like, he was better than 25 quarterbacks. I'll put him more than halfway better.
I want Bridget to come on Quarterback Island.
That would be
You
fun.
need to come on quarterback island.
I'll start texting him tonight, but begging. No, but let me say my point. I do have brains in here, not just milk. Okay, let me stop scaring people. No, but seriously, Sam Darnold has a lot of potential. And I remember I covered the playoff game, Rams Vikings, and I was talking to a lot of his teammates, and they were like, "This guy has just been overlooked time and a time," and he didn't do well in that playoff game. But I think that there is a huge upside, and I think he'll do well in a system that wants him, right? They went out and they got Sam Darnold. He was kind of like awkwardly there in Minnesota, and like JJ McCarthy was supposed to be the guy, and then he wasn't the guy. Like, I feel like he wasn't fully comfortable, and I'm excited to see, like you said, there's a lot of uncertainty, what his upside can be, and I think we're going to be surprised.
I like that you brought up with the receivers, because I do feel like I know who JSN is at this point of his career, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's getting better and better. But does he really complement Cooper Kupp? And then the rest of the group, like, it's pretty
Yeah, they have to
wide
figure it
open.
out. Yeah,
they got rid of your boy Noah Fant. You know, there's not as many receivers there. Jake Bobo is maybe like heavily involved. It's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
I would be anxious, but I think it's a great point that they know they need to make. Like Sam Darnold and this entire regime, John Schneider and Mike McDonald, like they are now tied at the hip. Despite what Sam Darnold's contract, they're trying to like have it both ways, that they could get rid of him out of this year. But to me, they're all kind of tied at the hip. They got to make this work.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think like they're when they to your point about Noah Fant, I'm so glad you brought up Noah Fant, Greg. Thank you for that. When they released him earlier this week, it was clear, like you could see on paper what was super clear. They're trying to increase competition for the guys behind him. They drafted Elijah Arroyo in the second round, and then they already had a couple guys there that they're trying to compete for this job, because they need to figure out who tight ends 1 and 2 are, because they're going to need 2 good ones in this Kubiak offense. And then also they're going to need to figure out receiver 3 and how the layers between JSN and Cooper Kupp stack together. You can have 2 orbital guys that play that sort of XF type of role and rotate around each other, almost like a solar system around the quarterback. But you have to have a really clear, cohesive plan for how 2 similar players can actually functionally do that, and all the rest of the pieces around them as well. And I think that this coaching staff and this team really summed up our feelings of uncertainty as, again, neither a negative or a positive, just uncertain. And no better way than how Mike McDonald actually answered the Noah Fant question, which was total uncertainty in my book.
We love Noah, wish him the best, but we also love the guys that are still here, and they know what's at stake, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching that competition in the tight end room. What happened with Noah?
Like, why release him now?
We released him a few days ago. I'm not going to tell you exactly why. There's multiple reasons.
I just love it. I love it. Like that just sums it up.
He's like 5% more comfortable in front of the microphone this year than he was a year ago, which is still well below like the median of NFL head coaches. There's just something about him that
I just love it. They said, "I'm not
stresses me
going to
out."
tell you," and it's like we're gonna see it. We're gonna watch them show their work, and I like that about them as an uncertain team.
Love that choice. We have a little breaking news as we're taping this show. Aaron Rodgers has been intercepted on his very first.
Oh my God!
throw
I thought you
of
were going to say
training
has
camp.
been injured. You said that too
In team
quickly.
drills. That's just bad vibes. I'm a hater.
You're a hater.
Caleb Williams was intercepted on his first throw of team drills too. There is something about, and it's really more the first play of the season that I'm with. There is something about first plays. I do think that's a bad omen for these teams.
Could
I don't
we get
like
the
it.
research
You
team
spend
on
the
that?
whole off season getting ready. They make a choice like, here's the first play we're gonna do the practice, and then it's an interception. It's just bad juju. All right, I'm gonna go to my choice for the corridor of uncertainty. One of them, and
You would make me go last.
you can go twice in a row if you want.
Okay,
You know,
perfect.
there's no worry about the order. I'll go last. I am very uncertain about the certainty of who the best teams are in the NFL and how much consistency there has been, and it's a real trend, and that everyone assumes there will be moving forward. And by that I mean the 3 big teams in the AFC with the great quarterbacks, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens. And then I would also throw now, the Eagles, and the Lions into that mix. And I think if you asked like 20 people who are the best 4 teams in the NFL, it's going to be those first 4. You ask another 20, I think they'd all say the Lions are probably 5th. Maybe there's an order, and that's just not how the NFL usually works. Having covered it way since the days of Facebook and when boomers were at it, like there used to be so much more uncertainty.
When boomers roamed the earth.
Like great teams usually didn't stay great that consistently. There was the Patriots and there was Peyton Manning like racking up his regular season wins, but it usually wasn't like this much year after year after year. And so this assumption that all these teams, and there's not a team among them that I'm pointing at and saying like they're not going to be the team that's good. But there's something about all the certainty that's like, okay, pencil those teams into the playoffs that I'm uncertain about. That's just not how professional football is supposed to work. At some point, this consistency is going to fall apart a little bit.
So I had to ask ChatGPT who the best 4 teams are so that I had a talking point. Now let me go on the record to say somebody's going to get caught this season on a podcast or a talk show or whatever for not having preparing and asking, because the problem is it pulls from random articles and it doesn't fact check.
It's just a Google search that Bridget Condon did like 3 months ago.
Can I tell you the
search.
results? First, it said Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, fine. Then it said San Francisco because of Debo.
Yeah.
Debo's not on the team anymore, ChatGPT.
You're proving my point.
No, but then I said, fact check this, you dummy. And he said, Eagles, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
So there's just something that makes me uncomfortable about an extremely predictable NFL. If you look at the AFC divisional round last year, it was the exact same as the year before. Those 3 teams I mentioned, and then the Texans were back again, and they're the favorites again in the NFC South. Even if you look at the NFC, it's the Eagles who have basically been there. It's the Lions who have now kind of established themselves at that team. It's the Rams who have been around, and the Commanders were like, wow, see, there's one surprising team, but like. That's not how it's supposed to go. I need this to be shaken up a little more.
Yeah, but I liked your point that you made at the very beginning of this segment where you were talking about if you would ask 20 people, they would probably all have different opinions. Like, I have a different opinion about who I think the best teams are. I think the Bucs should be in there. I think the Bucs.
No, my point was everyone's saying the same 4 teams.
But I.
So you have the Bucs ahead of who?
Well, I have the reverse opinion. I think that this is while we think that these teams, because they actually went out and did the thing last year, yes, of course, we're penciling them in to the top of our list. That's a natural thing to do. But I actually think if I'm looking at the future, and again, not factoring injuries in for any of these teams, I'm still putting the Eagles on the top. I'm still putting the Chiefs on the top. They're one with the quarterback with Pat Mahomes. 2, it's just the most best built team in football.
Right.
I'm looking at the long term with all the current injuries, not future injuries, and the coordinator turnover. I maybe would bump the Lions down a little bit. Also, one of the best built teams in football. I think the Bucs are one of the best built teams.
So you'd have them ahead of the Chiefs or the Ravens or who am I forgetting? The Bills.
I would have the Bucs. I would have the Bucs above the Lions, but not above the Ravens.
Okay, so they get into the 5 spot.
And I think the Rams are up there too.
It just used to be.
I know you're all shocked to hear that.
No, it just used to be.
Don't get me started on the Bengals. I'm like a Bengals stan. I have no reason why. I have no ties to Cincinnati.
We need more of that on this show, actually. You should talk nicely about them.
No,
they're mad at us right now for not.
Oh, you guys don't buy into it. Like, I think Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks of our time.
Sure.
And I think like he's just one injury-free season away from winning the Super Bowl. I understand that their team, like they've lost a lot of good talent, but I think he's a kind of guy like a Patrick Mahomes that can completely change a season because of his talent, regardless of who's on the field. Like he can make the most of what's there. He just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, and Vegas agrees with you. The advanced analytics places, like we're going to have Aaron Schatz on from FTN Almanac. Like they all have the Bengals right behind these top teams. But yeah, the thing is, they really have done it. It's not just that we've been penciling in. They've been like those 3 teams in the AFC and certainly the Eagles and the Lions the last 2 years. Their rise have been extraordinarily, almost historically consistent in a way that just teams that weren't piloted by like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning just haven't been over the last 20 years. So we'll see if that gets the apple cart gets upset at all. All right, you're up, Bridget.
It's a very boomer thing to say. Apple cart gets upset.
Yeah, can you explain that for us?
Back in the old days, I don't know.
I'll ask chat later. All right. So what I have coming to you. I'm waiting for the music. Come on. Do what we don't know this season is yet to be found out. You listen, though, daily, and we'll tell you the answers. But for now, coming from July 24th, this is what we're uncertain about. It's the Chiefs, those red and yellow Chiefs. Andy with the cheeseburger, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to say anything
You should be
about him.
charging
Okay.
for that.
All right.
You should be charging.
I'm uncertain about the wide receiver room.
Okay.
Okay.
I know where you're
Rasheed
going.
Rice. Are we allowed to talk about it?
I mean, he's expected to be suspended after being found guilty.
Okay.
He's expected to serve jail time at this
Okay.
point. as far as
I didn't know what we can. Okay. So you said that.
I mean, it's officially reported.
Okay.
They answer questions.
I don't like
It's-
to
it's
speak
all-
bad.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy. What's he going to do in year 2? And then Jalen Royals, the 2025 fourth round pick. He's getting first team reps as they're evaluating the depth, but I'm concerned a little bit, but I fear to say that I'm concerned because it's the same conversation every offseason with the Chiefs. Who's Patrick Mahomes going to throw to? I guess Travis Kelce slimmed down. He got some hair. He's in the Taylor world. He's doing great. Like
He
he's
got
always
some
gonna,
hair. What is it?
his hair is just even better than before.
Oh, I was like, did he purchase some hair?
Yeah, look, we're trying to get Jourdan to buy some. Maybe Travis can. No, but is Worthy going to take
Is
that?
it enough?
Is it enough? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Worthy going to take the leap? Is Royals is he going to be their guy of the future? Like, is he going to step up big and be a fourth round pick Puka Nacua type guy? I don't know.
Right. I mean, they have a second round pick that they tried to shoehorn over and over into opportunities that's still on the roster, Sky Moore, that I don't even think necessarily makes this team. So there's no guarantee, even if it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that he's going to turn these guys. I do think because of bringing Hollywood Brown back, which I thought was a nice, quiet, like re-signing for a little bit of money. I'm always defending Hollywood Brown as like a useful NFL player. That their wide receiver position is in better shape than it has been. I think, assuming Rice, is back this season, I assume that if he gets suspended, it'll be probably half the season at most. I think it's in better shape than the last few years, at least. Really since the post Tyreek Hill trade. I feel better about it. And I think their team build is really interesting to think about because I think they're just counting on offensive line plus Patrick Mahomes
to do
is going to
whatever.
make these guys better. But I do think these guys are a bunch of like good potential 2/3s, and Worthy has a nice ceiling. He did produce at the end of last year.
It looks like to me that they're really looking at explosive plays and team speed. Patrick Mahomes has been shrunk down because of the shells that defenses play against him, and he's forced to take the underneath stuff. They're forced to get real creative. Andy Reid has the best screen game in the entire league. They're forced to get really creative with their screens and all of the different underneath layers that they can build. You started to see, especially at the end of the season, and I know half of America turned off the Super Bowl in like the second quarter, but you could see that there were some real explosive plays to be had by Xavier Worthy. And I just think that he is going to be a really, really fascinating player for them. And I think that they're going for, again, like the speed and really attempting to poke a needle in the bubble that these defenses are playing over them. And so I think they're trying to build around him. Like, who's going to become the name? To your point, you listed some players who really could become the complement to him if you have these two speed rockets going down the field. Who is going to draw attention underneath so that those guys get more isolated coverage? I just think that's what you see. You see Andy Reid's like beautiful mind working. And is basically he's like, I need a guy who can puncture the bubble. And that's what I think he's trying to do.
To your point, Bridget, this was the exact storyline from last camp was we need to go deep.
It is every year.
But especially like it's Patrick Mahomes getting his like groove back by using his arm again. And that was everything all last August. And then he had 6.8 yards per attempt,
Right.
which is like Alex Smith, not even with Andy Reid, it was like Alex Smith in San Francisco. It's kind of shocking that Patrick Mahomes in his prime is averaging 6.8 yards per attempt. It's a little criminal.
It kind of, though, goes back to, like, the good old Patriots, and, like, sorry for bringing it up, but, like, Tom Brady, who was Julian Edelman before Tom Brady came around? Like, I feel like they you're gonna say something, but I feel like they.
I mean, he started.
I'm looking at you. I
he was
can't
like
look
a
at
Kent,
him when you talk
what was
about
he,
the
like a Kent
Patriots. I'm looking
State
at you.
quarterback or something? Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have these flashy players. Like, we talk about the Ravens. We talk about the Bengals. They have these flashy guys. Those great quarterbacks don't necessarily need to. Like, they make them flashy by helping them drag them along with them. But like maybe it doesn't matter.
I am fascinated because I would love to see. I've now seen a boring-ish Chiefs offense long enough that even though I like upheaval and the Chiefs being this good, every year is on some level you get a little tired of it. Like, I'm ready to see an exciting Chiefs offense again. I'm ready to see like Patrick Mahomes earn that like number 2 spot in the best players of the last 25 years. So bring it on. I'm with it. All right, let's. I have a quick one. I'm making a change. I said you were going to go twice in a row, but this doesn't make sense. So we'll go Jourdan and then back to Bridget.
Yeah, and this one's really quick too. I have uncertainty in a good way because I'm excited to see the thought process here. It could go very well for some of these guys. It could go horrifically badly for some of these guys who are first-year head coaches: Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, Brian Schottenheimer, and Liam Cohen. And the interesting thing I want to point out about all but one of these coaches is that they hired very, very experienced defensive coordinators. Steve Wilkes is with the Jets. Dennis Allen is with the Bears. Brandon Staley is with the Saints. Matt Eberflus is with the Cowboys. But Liam Cohen, also a first-year head coach and an offensive-minded head coach, hired Anthony Campanelli. And to his credit, Anthony Campanelli is an experienced defensive assistant coach, but has never been a coordinator at the NFL level. And I'm really curious to see how this works, because it seemed like a lot of these first-year guys also reflected on their own corridors of uncertainty. What don't I know about this job? What don't I know about doing this? And what do I need taken off my plate by somebody who can manage a defense like its own ecosystem?
Yeah, and like Ben Johnson, for instance, has Dennis Allen doing that, who's done that a long time. It did hit me this week as like we had another trope alert of Ben Johnson, taking his offense off the field, just like he did in the offseason. But basically they couldn't, their operation was struggling. So he took them off the field. And then this Jets thing happened this morning with Justin Fields. It did occur to me with these 2 Lions assistants, like, which is stronger, the optimism and the organization of these former Lions coordinators, or just like the history and vibes of this Bears and Jets organization?
I have to tell you though, like, I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are. Like, I don't mind that at all.
No, that's great.
I love that everybody can get it. If you are with the Chicago Bears, you will walk around the corner and get chewed out by something if you are not doing it in the correct way by either Ben Johnson or Dennis Allen. Like, this is not a warm, fuzzy situation, despite having come out of the Dan Campbell coaching tree at this point. The more I hear trickle out about the Bears last season, there is no accountability anywhere on the football side, top to bottom, players, everyone. And so I think this is like, a really good cleanse, or like the first workout back after like being gone or away for a while. It hurts like a mother, but it's worth it.
Need it. You need it.
It's like when you're a substitute teacher and you got to walk in and you're like really strict and the kids scare you, but then like day 2, day 3, you can loosen up. Like, that's what has to happen in Chicago. Like, he needs to come in, and I love that he took the offense off the field and was like, nah, you're wrong. Get the heck off. Like, you need to come in and lay the foundation and say, this is how we're doing stuff. Because if you come in trying to be their best friend, trying to be all happy, like Dan Campbell, I don't believe is Dan Campbell what we saw, the jokey ha ha ha. Like, I don't think that's how he started it, right? Like, he'll do that when things are going good. It's easier, but like he's the guy out there doing push-ups with them. Like, that's what Ben Johnson is trying to install in Chicago. Like, this is how we're going to do things. You've sucked forever, so we're going to fix it. Like, if you want change, like, this is how it happens.
Love that. And I'm going to love this next one.
Okay.
Bridget's second corridor of uncertainty topic.
A lot of questions. Right down the road from that little white house. With the Capitol building not too far, a new stadium looming in the city of Washington, D.C. Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders took the world by storm at the end of the season. Hail Marys and hellos. But can they continue? Can the offense succeed without him running? We saw what happened with C.J. Stroud in his year 2. Is Jayden Daniels going to have the same impact, or is Cliff Kingsbury going to do his magic in the offseason? We saw what he did with Patrick Mahomes. We saw him what he did with Kyler Murray in the beginning. Can he
wasted them both?
Can he do the same with Jayden Daniels? The blueprint is built, but can they execute it at an elite level? Look, he's going to go into these defenses. They now have tape on him. They have a year worth of tape. In the beginning, in your rookie year, you can get away with a little bit more because people aren't sure what to expect from you. I want him to be great. Let me put that out there. I'm just a little he's one injury away. He is so mobile. He uses his legs so much. Can they succeed if he's not doing that? And how long is that going to be sustainable?
I think it's a great thing to point out that the first month of the season, I'm fascinated and uncertain to see what this offense looks like, because it will be a 2.0 version of it. Now, his legs are going to be a massive part of it. I don't think that's going away.
It shouldn't. It's just a superpower.
It's just how that evolves, how that changes, like it did for Lamar Jackson, for instance. There was just like different stages. So I'm really fascinated to see that. My last corridor of uncertainty.
That's it. All right, bye.
What?
Okay.
Well, we spent like 30 minutes on
Let me text the nanny
Warped
that
Tour.
I'm on my way home.
We've done 45 already.
All
Bridget.
right. Okay, guys. Hey, let me just pack up.
I think it's like one of the most uncertain quarterbacks.
No. Keep going. What you got? What do you got?
In the NFL.
I see what you did. You sandwiched me into the middle so we could skip over. Go ahead.
I just realized we've been honking
Go ahead.
way
What's
longer.
What's yours?
It's Jourdan Love.
Oh, cool. All right, guys. Have a good show.
A guy who Jayden Daniels to me is more certain at this point, and yet Jourdan Love. How long has he been in the NFL? What, you wanted to talk more about Jayden Daniels?
I'm backing. You go for it.
At some point, we just got to move.
Tell me about Jourdan.
Good name.
Great name. He should have the U, though.
He is a guy I've always watched. Like, PFF's charting isn't perfect, but they do have a category that NFL teams use similar grading. When they have the big-time throws and the turnover-worthy plays, like those are the plus plays that NFL teams use in grading, and it's similar. And I always track that with Jourdan Love, because to me, he is a boom-or-bust quarterback. And yet, if you really watch, like last year, he really wasn't. I think people have this idea of him throwing off the back foot and a gunslinger. Like, if anything, I think they have really struggled to figure out how to turn the dials of how much risk he should take or how much risk he shouldn't take, and how he operates and how he just does what he's asked to do, or how much he freelances. It was turned too far the other way, that he was kind of a boring quarterback last year. There weren't a lot of big-time throws. There weren't a lot of turnover-worthy plays either. He was just kind of in the middle, and it gets me thinking, in general, his career, I feel like he's never really found that balance, and that makes me incredibly uncertain, because I think he went something like 5-6 straight games before that playoff game without a turnover-worthy play. He was playing it very safe. And then that game was a disaster, where he had 4 of them, where he's making bad decisions, bad throws over and over against the Eagles. And for that to be the way he goes into his offseason, he's just, to me, like, he could be an MVP someday, or he could be like a below-average quarterback. And I'm not like totally sure which one he's going to be.
I feel like year 3 is the year when we see the quarterbacks either do what you're saying, like take that next jump, and I know he's not in year 3, but this will be his 3rd year starting. And I think it's going to be we're going to find out a lot about what his career is going to be this season.
Some of that's a push-pull with the play caller, too. I mean, you have to think about it with Matt LaFleur, too. He went from coaching and trying to build like the compromise offense between himself and Rodgers, where they basically sat over Zoom on the playbook and said, okay, you like this, I like this, and how can we mash them together? And then Aaron Rodgers would go out there and change stuff anyway. And so then now you're a play caller and you're like, okay, now I've got a quarterback and I'm going to see if I can get him to do the things that I want to do and avoid risk, right? And then now I think you're watching, the play caller has to grow a little bit too, if he wants to kind of unleash the full power and potential of what Jourdan Love can be. And some of those like high reward throws, sure, there could be risk involved, but the high reward throws as well, and sort of expand his arsenal a little bit in that regard. Like, I think you have to grow with the quarterback. You have to mold with the quarterback versus kind of vacillating one way or the other too far.
I don't think he didn't look like a comfortable quarterback necessarily and I just think of his career so far, and it feels like this is his 3rd year, But I still do think of it a little bit as his 5th year. I mean, you got to give, he was in the league for 2 years before he got a chance to play, and he's figuring it out. And if you love quarterback play, it's hard not to love watching this guy. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers ever like totally settled on like those levers of how free to play and how not. Like that was a challenge for him. And at points, it made him look like maybe the best quarterback of all time. And I don't think Love can get there, but I think he can have some like insane seasons. And yet I'm not sure who he is. Very uncertain. But I do know he's very lovable.
Yeah. I know that a lot of NFL fans do know about this really cool thing that the Packers do. It's called the Dream Drive, where a bunch of kids from all over Wisconsin bring their bikes to the little pathway between the stadium and where players walk to the practice field. It's like the coolest thing every year. It really, for me, it's the real sign of training camp being back. It's the best part of training camp. And Jourdan Love met a young lady named Savannah, and that was whose bike he chose. And I think we have the video of that.
Let's roll, Savannah. See if I can get my feet on these pedals here. Try not to crash your bike here. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Let's go. Let's go. Happy birthday. How old are you? 9? Go Pack Go. Go Pack Go. What's up? You gonna break the bike. Don't break nobody's bike, man.
It's the
How can you not root for this guy?
Just the cutest thing, and it really made me think like this is the best time of year for people who are football fans. You go to the training camps, you have these really great memories. You go with your family, or in your case, your kids. You will be going with your kids soon. You know, it's just incredible. It's a core memory.
You're winning the Super Bowl at this point of the year. Like, there's nothing to complain about. Every team is going to the Super Bowl.
And we talk about this on NFL Daily and previously on Around the NFL. Like, it is such an underrated fan experience.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's free, like, my kids would have more fun going to training camp probably than an average regular season.
Because players are happy. Yeah. Like, there's no win or loss.
And you're up close. You can actually see them. Now, you don't get Jourdan Love riding your bike everywhere, but not everyone's Jourdan Love. Not everyone's the Packers. The Packers is also like a very special training camp that it is like wide open. You can tape everything. They get the best like reporting there because they just allow, like, that's football heaven. This was football heaven, Bridget, having you back.
Guys, I don't want it to end.
Did you do a show on Wednesday? Was this your first show back?
I did The Insiders. Okay. You didn't watch?
I mean, it's a lot of content. The Insiders every day.
I listen to NFL Daily every day.
All season.
And I have a kid. Like, what's your excuse?
There's no way that's true. There's no way that's true.
Thanks for having me on. This was a blast.
Name the guest this week.
Oh, I already saw him.
That's it for today's show. We are back on Friday. Aaron Schatz.
Aaron Schatz. I could have told you that.
Well, that's coming up. Yeah. That's...
we're excited for him.
Our guy, the FTN.
We'll be back.
We'll be going over some teams with
Where's Aaron gonna sit?
Projections.
Awkward.
He's in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So he's remote.
I was like, not in my chair.
Oh, man. When like a Jets quarterback is getting us all worried early in training camp. Football's back.